Hi, my name is Alex Maxwell, and I'm a singer-songwriter of the indie folk rock variety, and I'm from Dumfries. This is actually a performance at So Far Sounds in Edinburgh at the Cult Espresso coffee shop, which was a lot of fun. Um, yep. My weapons of choice. So I'm a musician, singer-songwriter. So my primary medium or tools of choice are the guitars. Over here on my left, I have the acoustic guitar, which I use live, and then on the right, I have a hollow-bodied Epiphone, because electric hollow-bodied acoustic. So that's quite fun to play as well. When I first started playing guitar, I was 18. I'd been buying the enemy since I was 16. I went off to university. At the time, I'd only learned the clarinet because it looked cool when my mum gave me a sheet when I was about 8. And then getting into the rock music and folk music, I decided to play my sister's guitar. And then on going to university, I got a guitar as a gift because I was playing it a lot. And then I had a lot of free time, and I basically became very explorative with the guitar and learned some chords, some finger variations, and then ended up writing structures for songs and finding it as a really good outlet emotionally and to make sense of things that I was going through, combining the lived experience with the kind of creative feeling of making sounds was quite liberating for me and a really good outlet, and became a very central part of my life without me really realizing it over time. Apart from the guitar, I mean, you need some tools to spruce it up. So on the right hand side, for my folk songs, it has made sense to me to kind of introduce a bit of harmonica to fill in parts and make it a lot more interesting rather than just me and acoustic. When you start playing open mic nights and playing your own songs, you realize that you need something a bit more to bring it home and bring a bit more attention. On the left hand side, I have some Strymon pedals, and the left is a reverb pedal, and the right is an echo delay. And together they really make the live sound a lot more interesting when you're playing solo in particular. My creative process, well, generally I play guitar, pick it up, and then I think it's really quite exciting that anytime you pick up the guitar, whatever you're feeling that given day, the emotions seem to translate onto the sounds that you create. So it's quite exciting. You don't know really what you're going to come up with. And I think that you're also inspired not only by you could say, limitations of your abilities and repertoires, but what you've been listening to seeps in subconsciously, and I find that really interesting in terms of how that kind of plays out on any given day. So first of all, I come up with the melodic structure from a guitar, and then vocally, kind of just like singing it out, da da da, and words tend to come in sometimes, which lead you in a different direction, and I really find that quite exciting. It's like not too prescriptive, but other times, I'm definitely as you have a wave of emotion, and then you just write down, and then the music comes with it. But generally, I have about 30 to 40 songs whereby the structures are done, but the lyrics need filled in. And so on the left-hand side, you see these journals. I have like more diary journal. I have more of a finished song journal. I have more of an ideas journal. I would like to say that it's much more organized than it actually is for this neat photo, but my mind kind of is a bit mad, and I shift between them and even receipts. And on the right-hand side, I use voice notes and voice memos when I have any fleeting thoughts or ideas, because you're on the move a lot of the time, and like watching a film or conversations or general just daydreaming brings lots of ideas, so I will hum into that. But generally, every time I come up with an idea in the guitar, it'll go straight into my voice memos for like revisiting at a later point. I have priority lists of songs that I want to finish. In lockdown, I don't know about yourselves, but I've found it as a really good opportunity to arrange my ideas and my song lists. I guess it's my song book folder, and I realised that I have quite a lot of songs. I've got 85 songs, not all of which are any good, of course. But then the more you write, the better you get. I think I'm getting better, so it's really nice to have that into a neat folder. And I think in lockdown, I've been like spending more time looking at how maybe I can arrange some of the better ones into collectives. So, for example, similar lyrical themes or similar sonic ideas, I can maybe put into EPs at a later point. Um, yes, at the left it says like completed song lists. That's when you're all the scribbles. It's nice to have it in a neat pile to actually see that you have actually done something rather than I'm going to put 2 singles out like officially just now, but yeah, there's a lot more to come, and it's just really good to kind of like be able to organize your ideas effectively, so that when you do have the time, because I'm not sure about yourselves, but I'm doing a thesis, a PhD. It means I can come to and really tackle it and focus in or hone in on maybe the 5 main songs I'm working on at any given time. In order to get to the stage of actually releasing music, I first started playing at open mic nights in Edinburgh, and there's a really nice and vibrant folk scene there. And I met Lissa, and that enabled me to play with someone else and play with harmonies and violin, which is a big part of my sound. And it's much more fun to play with somebody else. So you're really cutting my teeth and like learning what's good, what's not, editing songs, maybe changing some lyrics and bridges and structures. I think that is really crucial to kind of have a bare bones idea, but then go out and test it and see how you feel and see the reaction is. And then by the time you actually go to the studio, it's a different baby then. This is the Jam Jar sessions with Lisa in Edinburgh. Another thing that I found really exciting about being creative is the aspect of the arrangements. So, for example, this is a bookshop. I think it's the only time I've played a bookshop, but it's very bare bones. But in the actual recording, there's going to be drums, trumpet, lots of different layers. So, you have to adapt to the environment in which you perform, and I think that's really exciting. Songs are never static; they're living and breathing, and they adapt according to whatever sort of stage of sound that you're going through. In terms of releasing, well, these are my 2 singles. My first one was The One Comes in Waves in the Right. The second one is Soul Divine. Alyssa got 3 other violinists in for that, and had a string quartet. And I worked with a local artist, Frank Hayes, in the cover for the left. I worked with a friend, Japanese friend on the right. She was doing some work with So Far Sounds that I played, and I really loved their style. So then, I really like the aspect of collaborating with artists to create something bigger than just the song, because a real visual element to it, and it makes it more exciting, expands, the creative potential just from a song to something bigger and basically something that you can express in different mediums and forms. And I think that's quite fun. But it was nice. My singles did quite well and got some good radio play, which is nice. I mean, I guess it's a bit of validation, isn't it? Because when you're an artist, you've got this imposter thing. I guess it's not really too important, the validation aspect of it. But I guess in the end, maybe it is. We're just trying to connect in our own authentic way and to make sense of our lives. And yeah, so that was nice. I'm getting too deep. Yeah, this aspect of triangulating, whatever your creation is, I think that's really exciting. So, for example, I wanted to make music videos for my 2 singles, and I didn't know what to do. I just went out there and collaborated with some videographers. Really, really interesting to hear their articulation or interpretation of your song, and then coming up with an agreed strategy for implementing that visual aspect. So it's another example of just being open and making it happen and pioneering, traveling new ground. I just think really exciting to take ideas further than you originally thought they were. And definitely videos and pictures seem to be a good way to do that as a musician. And it's so easy to do it these days. It's just about time and willingness to make that happen and put the elbow grease in. But it's really rewarding, and I enjoy that aspect of it tremendously. Yeah, I have a very DIY ethos. I'm very inspired by Frank Turner and just going out there and getting it done. Nothing happens unless you put the effort in, especially as an artist and the creatives. As you know, there's not too much money, but we don't really do it for that. We just do it to kind of to make sense of things. But in terms of collaborations, on the left-hand side, I met Katie at a music conference, and she said she was a dancer. And so 6 months later, when I came up with the idea for the Soul Divine video, I had this idea of someone dancing, and she could, I'm not going to be explicit about what the video is about, but it was just really fun to just collaborate like that, and just things just happen when you put yourself in spaces and you open yourself up to what could happen. And it was amazing. She was really amazing dancer, really exciting to see that come to fruition in an old tobacco warehouse in Greenock. Yeah. So eventually, when I put out my 2 singles, I put a physical release out, and I had some friends who were willing to give me some time to make these songs come to life in a full band setting. We played one in Edinburgh and one in Dumfries, and it was so much fun. Really felt like all the hard work paid off. I would have loved to have started a world tour that night and gone on to play and play and play, but obviously realities of people's time loads and the money and the organization that requires. I mean, hopefully I can do that one day on my own to start, and then see where it goes from there. But that it was really a really nice nice night to just see it all come together. Part of having a DIY ethos, I think, is is an understanding things as you go along the road. For example, it's not just a music product, learning how to make a CD, the design, learning how to make a poster, understanding how to make t-shirts, and then, business cards, and understanding mailing lists. I mean, being a modern day musician is not just writing a song. There's the writing, there's the performance aspect, and then there's the recording aspect. And I think you have to master all three to really turn it into like a viable business where you can actually make a living. But using a DIY approach has helped me to just like learn one thing at a time and enjoy it as well. Try and enjoy the process. It's like, cool, there's a t-shirt. Who'd have thought one day I'd have one t-shirt? Kind of weird, but yeah, it's just all part of the fun. And if you're just trying to you are what you make of it, basically. You could just play a song at open mic night, or you could kind of explore these other mediums and forms of that creativity, which I have done. One thing in lockdown I've tried to get better at is in the recording aspect. And when I first got into music, for me, the fun aspect was coming up with a song, and in that minute, going straight onto my laptop and recording it, even no matter how shoddy that was at first. And believe me, it was very shoddy. But just being able to turn things around quickly and make something out of nothing and produce it and get it online, get some engagement, reactions, it's very energizing. And I do feel that the momentum slightly dropped for me when I became slightly more reliant on professional studios, and you have to work with their schedules. And by the time you even get into the studio, maybe you've moved on to your next idea in your head. And so music and creativity is very much about energies and forward momentum. And, you can look at that trail when you're 90 years old about what you've created, but all we have is right now. And I think it's important to just just focus on that, whatever that creative endeavor is at this given time, this present moment. So this is a song called Hold On to the Ones You Love, and I just put it up online because it's not the final version, but it just helps to kind of create some sort of forward momentum. Yeah, I don't know about yourselves, but in lockdown, I have been focusing on the production side. And for this Homegrown artistic project, I've written about 5 songs, but I chose one folky song for submission, and I have been trying to get better, reskill and relearn how to get better at making my ideas come to fruition on my own. Being self-reliant is a big part of the DIY ethos, and especially it can help you to save a lot of money. And it's just a lot more fun, to be honest. So it gives me energy, and I've enjoyed. I'm doing a PhD thesis, so I don't have a lot of spare time, but I have enjoyed very much getting to grips with this at night again. I hope at one point in the future I can produce all my own stuff on my own. Next up for me is my single In Action, which I recorded with Rod Jones from Idlewild and Post Electric Studios in Edinburgh about a year and a half ago before I went to Africa for 7 months. So that's been on hold. But here are some musicians, Lissa, Liam and Morgan, good friends. And we all went up to Edinburgh to produce that. And I'm making a video now, but obviously lockdown has stunted that. But my aim going forward is to put out a lot more music until I finish my thesis, and then to start playing a lot more and see what comes of it, because that's part of the fun, is not knowing. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks to Katie for having me as part of this commission, and I hope to see you at a gig at some point after lockdown.